everyone! I am Sophia Pagaran, a second-year college student from the University of San Carlos, taking up Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy. And I'm very happy to be part of this mental health webinar because personally, mental health is one of the things that I advocate for. And I also think that this is very relevant, especially in the hard times that we are currently in. While I was reflecting for this talk, a quote from the philosopher named Friedrich Nietzsche caught my attention, and it says, "A thought, even a possibility, can shatter and transform us." Our thoughts play a vital role in our mental health. Often, when we think and focus ourselves on positive things, our view in life is more optimistic, which will consequently affect our behaviors and the way we treat others. In contrast, thinking negatively and being pessimistic can only cultivate feelings of discouragement and hopelessness. Every day, I wake up to endless possibilities of what could happen. Is it something good? Is it something bad? Is it something that will humiliate me? Is it something that I will never forget? All these thoughts run in my head, and I've always been like this, thinking of what ifs, thinking of uncertainties, and thinking of the unknown. And sometimes I think it's good because it can actually help me prepare for what's to come. But it somehow reached the point when overthinking everything, even the littlest details, created problems that did not even exist in the first place. And this, I think, is my greatest challenge in life: overcoming my thoughts. When I was in 5th grade, my school joined a national assembly that included a biglaang talumpatian contest, or a Filipino extemporaneous speaking competition. I may have been quite a talkative student when I was younger, but I never really had the confidence to speak to crowds of people, more so using straight Filipino language. Initially, I thought, I can't do it. Thoughts started rushing in my mind. What if I mess up? What if mabulol ko? Or what if mapalaura ko nila? All these what ifs discouraged me from joining the competition. I mean, imagine speaking in a room filled with people who speak Filipino fluently, while there I was, a bisdak girl who may sound too konyo for others. But I knew I had to overcome my fears and anxieties because only then will I know my true potential. And so I did it. From telling myself, I can't do it, I told myself, I can do it. I eventually got over my fears, my anxieties, and my negative thoughts with the help of my coach, my teachers, and my family who supported me and cheered me on. As I stepped on the stage, then I realized the reason that held me back from pursuing this were my thoughts, and the reason why I am pursuing this are still my thoughts. Little did I know that it was the start of my interest in public speaking. From then on, I ventured into more public speaking engagements, competitions, and even debates. Fast forward to a few years, 8th grade was quite a dark year for me. It was when I experienced bullying. I've been bullied many times before, but the pains that they have caused were not as painful as the ones I experienced when I was in grade 8. I won't go too much into details, but I was bullied because of my physical build. At first, I didn't know exactly how to react, to the point that I felt numb. Then all the negative emotions came to my head, telling me that I was ugly and that I was not good enough. That time, I was always overthinking that maybe people are backbiting me all this time, that maybe my friends were not really my friends. I believe that was the time when my social anxiety heightened and my self-esteem lowered. I drew my strength throughout the process from my family, my friends, my teachers, and guidance counselors who were always there to help me heal emotionally and mentally. And after a few months, wounds were healed when the guy who bullied me talked to me about the whole situation, and we decided to move on from the hurtful experience. Eventually, my negative thoughts were replaced by feelings of hope and reassurance. From telling myself I'm ugly, I told myself I know my worth. And I did, because of the people who were there for me. In this time of a global pandemic and being in quarantine, we are also stuck with our thoughts. At one point, most of us may have felt the panic and anxiety on the thought of isolation and being physically cut off from our usual routine, our friends, and even our loved ones. This presents to us the question, why are we afraid to be alone with ourselves? History and psychology would tell us that it is a reasonable feeling because humans as we are, we have evolved over thousands of years to take comfort in each other's presence. So when we are isolated, it makes a big impact on us mentally and even physically. In my experience, it was tough at first relying on the power of technology and social media to replace the usual face-to-face interactions with others. But aside from human nature, we are afraid to be alone with ourselves because when we are alone, we are isolated with our thoughts, which may be a fearsome process. And maybe that's why we prefer to be with others, and why we would prefer to watch series on Netflix instead of just pure thinking. But being alone with our thoughts does not have to be terrifying. I have personally established my own process on how I was able to thrive amidst the adversities, and I call this the CALM method. This stands for change, accept, learn, and move on. First is a change of perspective. A few days ago, I stumbled upon a YouTube video that talked about how powerful our thoughts are and what most people do not know about them. Indeed, the mind is so powerful that it can even help the body heal in some cases. The placebo effect happens when the mind tricks the body into thinking that a fake treatment can actually lead to therapeutic results. There was even a research based on this placebo effect to 16 human subjects. They were given white and pink gelatin capsules that all contained talc. However, they were told that the white gelatin capsules contained a sleep-producing drug, while the pink gelatin capsules contained a stimulant. The results concluded that the white depressant placebo produced a statistically significant decrease in pulse rate and blood pressure, which may be evident among patients with depression, while the stimulant placebo produced the opposite effects. Knowing that the healthy subjects were only given with talc, such physiological changes tell us that the mind can indeed control the body and how it responds to certain medications. In the same way, it is important that we take charge of our mind and not let negative thoughts consume us. Consequently, this changes our perspective and makes us see the positive side of things. It is important to note that negative thinking is as powerful as positive thinking. Next is accept. Accept yourself and the feelings that you feel. Understand that there are some things that are not in our control. In a research by David Barlow and colleagues, the habit of emotional avoidance causes many psychological problems. In the short term, avoiding our thoughts may be effective because we are able to distract ourselves from the problems that bother us. But in the long run, this can actually create a bigger problem than what was initially avoided. By accepting and acknowledging our negative emotions, we are able to accept the truth of our situation, which will consequently make it easier for us to pursue our goals and our values. is learn. Learn from your experiences. Essentially, your experiences make you who you are as an individual. After you have acknowledged your circumstances, ask yourself questions like, what went wrong? Why did it go wrong? And what have I learned from this? From there, make a plan to avoid such adversities in the future. Or, if it is unavoidable or inevitable, make a backup plan on how you can recover. After, move forward as a stronger individual with the lessons that you have learned. Lastly, move on. We often bring up our hurtful experiences in the past to our present moment. But what we do not realize is that we do not have to do it. We do not have to keep on dwelling in the past. Instead of thinking about what you could have done, think about what you can do to change for the better. The past is in the past. You cannot change the past, but you can use it to heal yourself and cultivate more positive thoughts. Despite our circumstances, I am still hopeful for a more accepting world, where people would be a little kinder to one another. I know that this sounds very idealistic, but it doesn't hurt to try. That amidst our differences in cultures, backgrounds, and perspectives, we would choose to care and respect one another. Also, I hope that this time of being in quarantine is a chance for us to focus on our loved ones, our family, and our friends. Lastly, I am hopeful for a reduced stigma around mental health. I hope that people will be more open to being educated about the importance of mental health. Instead of discouraging and belittling the stigmatized, we should show encouragement and choose empowerment over shame. No matter how cliche it sounds, life is indeed a roller coaster ride. We all have our ups and downs, twists and turns, and it's up to us if we scream, cry, or just enjoy the ride. Throughout the journey, it is important that we acknowledge our thoughts and feel our feelings. It's okay to not be okay. Sometimes we might feel that we are obligated to be happy always. Or sometimes, society may tell us that being sad is a sign of weakness. But no, that is far from true. Your feelings are valid, and you have every right to take a break or leave a situation in which you are not comfortable in. Also, prioritize self-care. This is something that I constantly tell and challenge myself to do. Now that everything is done online, some of us, I included, want to be productive every single day, ensuring that all deadlines are met on time. There's even a feeling of guilt within me when I choose to rest over doing my responsibilities. But then I realized taking a rest is also productive, because this can help my mind and body recuperate. It is also a key in becoming more effective and productive in the long run. So once in a while, take a break. Dedicate even a few minutes of your day all to yourself. Spoil yourself. Binge watch that Netflix series that you have always wanted to. Or just sleep. You do not have to feel guilty about it. Lastly, surround yourself with people who lift you up and not bring you down. I was able to overcome my adversities in life because of the people who pushed my boundaries through constructive criticism, cheered me on, and supported me. Don't let other people's negativity let you lose sight of your self-worth. Be with people who help you cultivate positive thoughts, which will consequently improve your mental well-being. Let me end this talk with a quote from General Philip. Overthinking is parasitic. It's viral. It's deadly even. Letting yourself fall victim to overthinking doesn't just kill your happiness, it destroys who you are. The mind is a beautiful and complex thing. and the only person who can hurt it is yourself. May we continue to cultivate positive thoughts and empower one another. Thank you, and may God bless us all.